Hey my Shuga Bears, welcome back to my channel, Bougie AF. It's your host, Nicole. It's where I say stay bougie on them. It's me feeding you feminism for the soul. It's my soul food offering. It's where I apply pressure to issues by being critical and logical. Now don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's get to the commentary where I can guarantee you I will be doing too much because that's just me. And like Sheree said, who's gonna check me, boo? Welcome, Black y'all. You are tuned into the Bougie AF channel where I say stay bougie on them, and I am serving you feminism from the soul. You can check me out, and let me get that up for you. You can check me out on Instagram at bougieaf_ish. You can also check me out on Twitter at I'm_bougie_AF. Now listen, one day on an intro, I'm going to go into a little bit on like what I use my Twitter for, but just know it's Dear Diary-ish over there. I am just randomly talking about things as they come up. Like thoughts. Maybe I'm in on a social media and I'm in a room and the people are talking like Clubhouse. I'm sometimes tweeting my thoughts about the conversation I'm hearing. It's really all over the place, to be completely honest. I don't even know if I sometimes check into the trending, right? So I'm just trying to give you the vibe real quick, but I'll one day go in a little further about that. But you can follow me on Twitter. I'll follow back. Let me know, like, oh, I heard your video, so I'm following. I'll most definitely follow anybody back that says that. Right. So what we're here about today is that I wanted to do an Instagram scroll. Y'all know I like my Instagram scroll. So what I do is I go to Instagram and I get to talk my ish, kind of let my thoughts and opinions out about different things. And y'all know I did that Jussie Smollett video a few days ago, and I posted that in, I posted it a few days ago, and it was actually last week that he was sentenced with the judge. Now, since then, y'all, they didn't let Jussie out. They didn't let this political activist that they trying to shut down his message, and I'm not quite sure of the message, but they have let Jussie out. Now, this has caused a lot of conversation amongst people. People feel a lot of ways about it in terms of like not understanding how this person seems to play games with the judicial system, play games with the judicial system, affects so many people, different lives, people's jobs, like he's doing all of these things, right? So people are really just like fed up with this like bullshit, and so now he's out. Now, so what ended up happening, if you remember the video at the end, that he did tell his team, his lawyers and them did ask for an appeal. And they did ask, since, he was only sentenced for like, in terms of having to be in jail for 5 months, and it was going to take longer to get to to get into court and go through, to file the appeal, get back in court. It would take about 5 months basically. So the lawyers did ask for him to, could he be released until he goes through, until he goes through the appeal. The judge said no, and I think if y'all remember that scene, look at me. If y'all remember that scene, the judge was like, you know what? Sometimes the hammer drops, and right now the hammer of the law is dropping. If y'all remember that part of the scene, right? So then that part happened, and then that's where they denied the fact of him not being mandated to go into prison. So that's when that happened, right? All right. So since then, I guess it went through some process, and he's now being let out to wait for his appeal to go through, right? So his sentence is still there. They're just saying to be continued in case your appeal fails and you are still found guilty and everything's upheld, and then you would have to go back in to complete the rest of your 5 months. So I hope that's a better explanation, because I was in this like Clubhouse room, and the way this guy was explaining to me, and that's how I understood it. He said he had a child who had been murdered or something happened, and the man has been in jail for 3 years, and the man has now recently been out because he's appealing his sentence, and because on the sentence that he would have had left is less than the time he's already been in prison. And so just in case that he did not commit this crime and he is innocent, they're saying that, okay, you have already done enough time. You've already done enough time. So until you go through the appeal process, and if that is upheld, you will then continue the rest of your time. So he's appealing his sentence. So I hope that I explained it well. If I haven't, please put me on. I'm not above critique, and don't get angry. Just explain it to me, and I appreciate it. All right, where are we at? So this story interested me because, all right, that's the breakdown of what's happened. Jussie is back out here fighting the power. We don't know what he's fighting, doing the most and marching and doing all that Jesse is doing in terms of his activism. You go, bro. You go. All right. So, in terms of like what I wanted to cover in terms of this story when it comes to Jesse was like, everybody, there was a lot of Hollywood people ish and entertainers that ran to his aid. And even, yeah, I think you could feel my vibe in terms of feeling like Roland Martin was really in that panel was really light on Jesse, right? So, what you are seeing is a lot of times when people are in that circle, like in that black elite in Hollywood and stuff like that, and no, they tend to kind of protect their own above. I'm not gonna say above logic, but they tend to protect their own above the fact that if they were on the receiving end of being someone's victim or being someone's victim, they would not feel the same way, right? If they were affected by something that Jesse did, these people would not take it so light, and they would not be out here telling people to like this is not a big deal. Like I said, people's jobs have been put in jeopardy because of him and his lying, and even those two African guys, I mean, their lives have been twisted upside and down, right? So when I'm saying people affected, they were really trying to help somebody out who had their own bad intentions. So when you see people trying to protect people, friends protecting friends, and that, I guess you just have to look at it like that, and you gotta understand it. Uh, so Miss Tina Lawson, this became interesting to me because there's another story on the back end of this is that she has been in the news lately, but kind of making comments about black women in relationships, like black women in relationships in terms of like, I guess maybe she does know, but I just can't think that she knows the full scope of like why things are happening. But there was let me see if I saved it. Let me see if I saved it. Bear with me. I don't want to go back. Hold on. Bear with me. I think she put out an article or she gave an interview or there's some type of soundbite where she's talking about there's some kind of soundbite where she's talking about black women and black men, and she's talking about black relationships, and she was telling black women, do not be scared of your men, and love your men or something like that. Um it was very much like making it seem as though it was very much making it seem as though we don't have no reason to fear our men. Our men love us, type of ish, like it was going on. A lot of time, it's a view that some women and some men will try to promote in terms of opposition to like a feminist mindset. I guess if what they perceive is a feminist mindset, because a lot of times a lot of people's understanding of feminism is that we don't love men, we don't love black men, oppose so, for black people we don't love black men. And I guess, and I don't even hear white men talk about it as if though it's white women hating white men. So like this really dynamic of it's about hating the opposite sex only is in the black community. It's really really weird. It's really like it's the scarcity mindset that happens where men think that we're taking their jobs, all this other stuff, blah 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 blah. We're another people they have to compete with in terms of that way, and not feeling as if though we shouldn't have to compete with women. And that's what's really causing there not to be room for men in society, and in some type of like we're taking all the opportunities from them type of way. And then basically also that we were just better at home, and for this as men. And this is some of the stuff like a lot of times like conversations I do get in is these conversations where, there's this weird rhetoric around what was going on with black families in the 1950s in terms of women staying home and taking care of the kids, and black men being the providers. And for some people, they look at that and they look at those examples of that being like that being a reality for some black people, but not a reality for all black people. And for those black people who were able to have that reality, usually middle class, right? This was middle class black people. Usually those mothers were educated, right? They came from probably prominent families that had education, and their husbands also had education. But that's not something that you would have found in like and at the time, and even in the 50s and 60s, there were two family households, and mother and father were going to work. Like this was a real thing. Women were always working. But I digress. My point is what I'm trying to say to you. There are some men who try to romanticize that middle class image that maybe like MLK gave you with Coretta Scott, right? Like that a man providing a woman at home rearing the kids, and this is the strong foundation that you need, right? So there's a lot of people who will try to paint feminists as the antagonist of that message, right? Like as if though our message is opposite of that, of saying like women, you don't need a man, or you don't need to stay home and raise your kids, as if though these are things that we don't believe in. There's that blanket assumption about that when it comes to feminists. Like if a man and a woman got together, and if finances are good, and if she's somebody that wants to stay home and educate her kids, I don't know of any feminist that will be like, girl, you're stupid, you need to go to work. Like that's not what that's about. And it feels like as black people we keep missing that, like especially black women who don't take the time to get educated on like what feminism is, or and just want to talk out the side of their necks, just to be pick me's and mammies, right? And on Clubhouse there's a lot of pick me's aging into mammy type of conversations, or like characters on there, right? With that being said, so you'll see a lot of times, like when I am on Clubhouse, you'll see like a lot of rooms that will say, "Oh, feminism is killing the modern day family. Feminism is," and then you'll hear people make it seem as though we're trying to scare women from loving their men. We're trying to scare black women from loving their men, and it's really weird. I think I was in a room like 2 weeks ago, and I'm not mad at the guy, and it feels weird that men feel like as soon as a woman asks them a question or challenges them in the way that just not assumes that they know what they're talking about, and kind of says like, can you prove that men really feel like that's a masculine trait, and that's something they don't like to see in women, right? So a lot of times you do understand that the women who are allowed to sit on stages and be around men in that capacity of a non-questioning type of way, that's why they have access to them. Now it's really weird because in real life I don't ask a nigga a shit. I don't care. But we're talking about Clubhouse, where we're just engaging and having conversation and talking about things. So I think I can come across stronger in on Clubhouse than I probably will in real life, because in real life I don't care. No, I'm being completely honest. Like in real life, I'm not stopping you. And maybe if you are wrong sometimes, I probably won't correct you, because, like I said, it depends on who I'm talking to and how it may come across. And I ain't trying to be nobody's mama. I ain't trying to be that person that thinks they know it all. No, I really feel like I have to be in relation and in community with you, and feel like we have some type of we have familiarity amongst us, for me to kind of talk a little bit. And like if you didn't, like, and what I'm talking about, like let's say you thought there was 100 members in the House of Representatives, and there's let's say you thought the census, or the census and the population determined how many people were in the House of was our senators, like, because if you know anything, you know the census determined in areas and like population, and the census determined like House of Representatives, all that other stuff, like, you know, like that, right? That plays a part in it, right? Your population plays a part in how many representatives you have in the House of Representatives, right? But when it comes to the Senate, is a set number of like how many however many states we have, they get two, right? So that is set in stone. Now, if I came across somebody and there's a conversation going on, and let's say somebody messed that up and thought it was the other way around, I might correct it. I might correct it. Depends on the vibe. Depends on if somebody's not gonna catch an attitude. Like, cause I even hear feeling on Clubhouse. Like, people can say I'm fucked up if you want to. I don't care what you're talking about. I even feel it on Clubhouse. Like when someone says something and think they killed it, and then you come off your mic was like, well, I just want to push back a little bit and just say, like, I did it the other night, and I just felt like it's got weird afterward on Clubhouse. So, she had made some comments. The girl had made some comments about Whoopi Goldberg and black women, and how they wanted to shut down a black woman. This was the first time they got to shut down a black woman and her message, and they wanted to do it to a dark skinned black woman, and that's why that happened to Whoopi. Now, a lot of time it be like, people from not from the United States be shit talking, like shit starting, because it was like, that's not that whose history is that? Like, what are you talking about? But I didn't do it like this, like I'm doing right now on the mic, right? So I was just like, hey, girl, I just wanted to push back and let you know this is something historically that's been happening to us for quite a bit of a long time. If you go back, you can check a look at Josephine Baker, Nina Simone. There's been quite a few women that once they stepped out and taught, what's her name? Eartha Kitt. Quite a few women that, they had dossiers and all that types of stuff, that the FBI and everybody was looking into them because they were speaking out, right? So I was like, no, this isn't the first. It's right on time for what they always do when you think that you're going to say too much. They try to find ways to quiet you. Yes, most definitely. This is something consistently being happy. This is just happening. This is just another example of it happening, right? So with that being said, I'm not the corrector. I'm not the corrector out here. Because I feel it. Like, I feel it on the audio app. So, like, it's just weird. So what I'm trying to say to you in real life, people really do get mad, right? But also people on the flip end will get mad because they feel like and then you won't tell them, or you are somebody that, I don't know how to explain it, but also people will know that you're really smart and that you're probably not saying something. And I'm laughing because I do think people really do get that impression. Like, I know she knows, and she's just like, but I don't know. Like, I don't know what to say to that. Like, I'm not like, but it's energy, right? Like, I think I was in a room and I was like, yo, it's a lot of energy sometimes. So sometimes you don't always want to be that person that be like, oh, did you read this? Oh, yeah, this is this, and I seen this, and like it becomes exhausting. It becomes like labor, right? If you're always that person, like, did you know that? If you're always the did you know that person, that's a lot. That's a lot of labor. That's a lot of people feeling some sort of way if you just come across as a know-it-all. Like, so I don't do all that. So I really do try to meet people where they're at so we can enjoy each other, like, in what feels natural between us in terms of conversation. And what I mean by that, I think, and I've said this before, there's some friends you've never gossiped about, never talked about social issues with, never talked about government with, right? So I kind of like whatever it feels natural in terms of like what we get together and kiki and laugh about, then that's where I kind of keep it, right? Now, if you show me range of like, because, you keep up with other things and other conversations and shit comes up and I'm like, okay, that's dope. Okay, she gets it. I think, okay, one of my friends, her name is Blue. Now, Blue and me, I love hanging out with Blue. Now, we go out to the clubs and stuff like that, and we just, like, we're always laughing, and that's all we, like, do. Because I'm funny. Like, I'm funny, I'm shady, I guess. I'm funny, whatever. So we're always laughing, and she's hilarious, too. But the reason I bring Blue up is because great mom and stuff like that. But we would always have fun. And I think one day, I think it was the day she came on my show. But there was other times, like, she hinted to different things. Like, things would come up about religion. And she was just like, I don't believe in religion. And then she broke it down. I'm like, okay, bet. I love that. I love how she looked at it, right? But on top of that, I think it was like women's issues, right? Like, she was really knowledgeable about like different things women face and stuff like that. So I seen that and I was like, okay, okay, she has more, like there's more to talk to. Like there's more, I can have a different type of, now I know I can have a different type of conversation with that person. I think sometimes you just don't know and you just let it naturally happen. So there are some people I know if I get real nerdy on, I'm gonna lose them. All right, that's a lot. All right, let's get back to this article. With that being said about feminism, so you'll feel that people will try to typecast you into this person that is like hateful to men, don't like men around, mean to men, always trying to victimize yourself in terms of issues when it comes to men. Like I know all the tropes, I know all the thoughts, I know everything that is said behind when it comes to terms of feminism, right? And they also make it seem as though you're a hateful person, you're against love, right? Because now it becomes all about love, right? It becomes about that basic, and you do have to say basic concept of something that is so easy and so pure. And so like they'll dumb an issue down into like it's about love without in a subtle manipulative way to be kind of dismissive and ignoring like the actual issues behind that. And the reason I say that is like when you think about Tina saying, just love your men and our men need protection from society and women need to blanket them and cover it. Like to give that type of messaging is to ignore what men are doing socially that are affecting relationships if you want to speak about relationships, right? So when you have women who take this how can I explain this? I want to say emotional. It's like a it's playing on people's emotions, like bare necessity of like feeling of love. Like it's like playing on that, like what people know to be true is family and love. It's like playing on the essence of what it's like really playing on what everyone knows is to be true. And so everyone knows it to be true. Like one of the most important things in life is love, right? And is family, right? So when you find something or you're trying to paint an issue or paint a person as the antagonist of that, right? Because ultimately everything should be about love and family, right? So when you find somebody that you can paint them as somebody who is counter to the most important things, like they don't care about the most important things, then you can cast the aspersion that they are lost. You can also make it seem as if though they are depressed and there's something wrong and they're not focused and they're just not right, basically, because everyone wants love and wants family and wants relationships, right? So it becomes a part, it becomes a struggle for individuals when you was like, well, I want love, I want relationships, I want, family, I want all those things, and you ain't talking about that. So something wrong with you. It's not that serious. It's not that big a deal. It's about love, relationships, and family, right? So what ends up getting lost about all of that when Miss Tina Knowles Lawson comes out and makes it seem as though it's just love our men and they need to be loved, and that's what the issue is that there's no acknowledgement of the fact that there's been an increase in femicide rates. There's no acknowledgement in that, right? There's no acknowledgement in all of the stories, and I think everybody's on social media and see what's going on, and we keep on hearing about stories of black men killing black women. And if you don't know Miss Tina Knowles Lawson, there's a man in Dallas who shot his girlfriend because she told him she was pregnant. She was trying to get some money he owed her. Do you remember the man who walked into his girlfriend's house his ex-wife's house when he was on live, and he shot her after shooting his ex-girlfriend who was currently pregnant with his child? Do you know of these stories? How about the man the ex-police officer who ended up killing his partner, female partner, and girlfriend, and his two kids because he was going through a custody battle? Like we can literally go on and on about all these stories. Like I literally have stories saved, Miss Tina Knowles Lawson, because I want to be respectful when I acknowledge people and what they're talking about and why they probably should not be talking, and we should just only probably be hearing stories about her grandchildren and how life is just beautiful and wonderful, right? Miss Tina Knowles Lawson. Let's see. There's this story: boyfriend charged with murder after shooting and killing his pregnant girlfriend and throwing her infant son over a bridge. Sources say he heard the boy crying as he drove over. There's this other story of where this man he killed his 2-year-old daughter because he was ordered to pay $167 for child support. I mean, at this point, right? And he's still alive. I mean, because this bitch ass nigga couldn't go ahead and finish and being committed to finishing the job, right? But he's still here, and the girl is not here. And this is just my save stuff. So I wonder if there's any more stories about more violence that men are inflicting on women. Miss Tina Knowles Lawson, because it's great. I mean, I really want you guys to understand. I really keep on saying Miss Tina Knowles Lawson because I think sometimes people don't realize like you are Miss Tina, married to Matthew Knowles, who was a habitual cheater. You stayed with him for numerous years, and you took that on the chin like a graceful woman that stands by her man, right? And then you quickly, not quickly, but you endured that. Y'all got divorced, and then you got married again, and you seem to be on your second leg of being happily married, and whatever that encompasses, because I mean, you stayed so long with the other one, so it is what it is. You are a happily married woman. We're just going to assume that. How lucky you are to to have such great situations. You can say whatever you want about Matthew. He ultimately ended up providing for his family in terms of what he was able to do with Beyonce, right? So we can say that you've had a great life. Of course, you've had some hiccups. Can't overlook that, right? All right, so let's keep going, Miss Tina Knowles Lawson. Let's see what else is happening out here. I'm trying to see if there's any more stories. Okay. Try to see if there's any more stories of domestic violence that we haven't got to. All right, so because sometimes I don't save all of them because it's a lot. Oh, here we go. Look, I thought it was me, y'all. I thought I was doing too much. Because y'all know I like to do too much, so I thought I was doing too much. And look at this. Update. Father admits to tossing his 2-day-old baby girl in the water, according to police affidavit. 2-day-old Miss Tina Knowles Lawson. 2 days old. 2 days old. Miss Tina Knowles Lawson. The family of Lauren London Smith would say that there's something going on in terms of violence. I am just saying, what else is out here? Like this, I got motivated to keep going. Miss Tina Knowles Lawson, here go Miss Kelly. She witnessed mothers bringing their underage daughters backstage to meet R. Kelly. Miss Tina Knowles Lawson. I'm just saying, love our man, stand by him, Miss Tina Knowles Lawson. So I really wanted you guys to see that. Like, there's just something like really off when people just, um, when people insert themselves and make out of touch statements in terms of like real life issues that affect people who haven't been able to have the pleasure of being, a Mrs. Tina Knowles Lawson in life, right? So now this opinion about Jussie Smollett really rubbed me the wrong way. So let's go ahead and take a look and let me read this. No matter what opinion you have of whether or not Jussie Smollett did what he is accused of not, the punishment does not fit the crime. That's where she's off, right? Because the punishment did fit the crime. The punishment did fit the crime. That's not why he's out, Miss Tina Knowles Lawson. People walk away free from killing our people every day. How many instances of our young black people have been murdered in the last year? And the people whom they were with are walking free. And what about the people involved in the treason at the White House? Most went unpunished. So Miss Tina Knowles Lawson just said that because we know that black violence exists and that there's a high murder rate and crime and violence rate amongst black people. Now she's now playing on our violence again, right? Now she's playing on what we are experiencing in our blackness because this nigga decided to write up a script that did not go through, right? So now she feels compared to what we really experience in our blackness in terms of like culturally what we go through, this is nothing, right? There's no reason that you should be mad about what he did. There's no reason that you should be mad about what he did. It's not that big a deal, and the crime, and the punishment is not fit for her, right? A punishment that he still does not take fault for anything that he's done. This is still just too much. Okay. Let me see. And then also comparing it to what happened on January 6th, as if though someone saying that the people who stormed the Capitol were right, right? Nobody has ever said that they are correct. Nobody has ever said that they shouldn't go to jail. We've actually said they should do more, right? So no one is excusing either of these behaviors for her to be making this false comparison, right? No one is excusing none of it. None of it is excused. So it's really weird, right? So, and then they give this man 5 months in jail. Are you kidding me? No, we're not. He was kidding us. Like, what part? Like, I'm confused. He was kidding us. Like, we are the victims in this. Like, what part don't people understand? Miss Tina Knowles Lawson, we are the victims. And it just really irritates me that up is down with some of our people. Like, and like I said, I'm still being respectful. There's still nothing. I've still not said anything disrespectful. I just want to be completely honest. This is unjust. She's actually sounding like his family. This man is not a threat to society. This wasn't about him being a threat. I mean, literally he is, though. I mean, if you want to think about it. But this is an example of the disparities between how we are treated as exposed to our white counterparts. Is she serious? Why is this a black issue? He literally created his own hate crime. He literally, why is this a black, like what? Woosa, woosa, woosa. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. I knew I was going to read this. I didn't read this beforehand. I want to be completely honest. I knew she has been out here just saying a bunch of shit lately. And so I was just like really letting it pass, y'all. Because y'all know I love her daughter. And I love her for having her daughter. And I love everything about her that she instilled in her daughter, right? Tina taught her all of this shit. I love her. Like, I really deep down at the end of this read and at the end of this conversation, want y'all to know, I really do love Miss Tina Knowles Lawson. But I want her to go back to when she was giving us little mini documentaries talking about Juneteenth. That's what I want her to go back and telling us about how her family in Galveston, Texas used to always go to the beach, and that was a family tradition, and that's what they did to celebrate Juneteenth. I want her to go back to talking about that. That's what I want her to do. I want her to go back to talking about that. I want her to go back to talking about them days of early designing, her creativity. Like, I want her to do that. I want her to do that. I want her to do that. Right? That's where she make the most sense at. Talking about tradition and what it used to, what blackness used to be about. Like, that's what I think she serves as. Because I've listened to her and her husband, the first one. I've listened to her and her husband on Solange's first album. These people are very much intellectual people, middle class people. These are not dumb people. Tina and the Matthew, they're very smart people. I think that, like, them getting together makes sense. Made sense. Like, I'm not like what? And you hear her talk about blackness and knowing our history and all that other stuff. That's her pocket. I want her to stay in that pocket. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say. Their dads, what he talked about in terms of race and what they experience in terms of like race and in terms of being black and getting your education and stuff like that. Both of them, it was amazing, actually. So people do need to go back and listen to Solange's it was her second album. Because I remember the first album, Tony, what was that, Tony? I used to love, I liked the first album. I like some cuts after the first one. It was like Tony, and I think there was another one. But that second album, yes, go back and listen to that, and listen to Miss Knowles, and listen to Matthew talk, and then also it's the snippets of Master P. That was very educational. Like, listening to them is amazing. So when I tell you the woman is intelligent, I'm not blown. Like this is not an attack on someone. I'm just saying this ain't the pocket to get the social justice type of pocket and talking like and trying to tell women in terms of like what's reality for women in terms of men that aren't have last names with Knowles and Lawson. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got Pookie Johnsons and Raylo Greens out here. Like, it's just different out here. So that's all I'm really trying to say, to be honest with you. This is let me go back. Let me finish reading this. Black people, we cannot afford to let this slide. Let what slide? This nigga. This nigga. I'm actually really concerned for Jesse. Because to pull all of this out, to make this a hate crime, I'm sorry, to pull this and make this a social justice issue, having this compared to killings in the hood, and then to January 6th of treason, to then just talking about like we can't let this slide, and this is some over sentencing. Like, this is still about a script that he wrote. Trust me, you and your family might be next. Might be next. Me and my family ain't rehearsing no motherfucking hate crime. Like, what is we talking about? Are you and Beyonce and them rehearsing hate crimes? Like, who is scared that they're going to get busted for practicing hate crimes? Like, this is strange. This is strange. Like, this is so strange. Like, I'm just thinking like something's in the water. Like, something has happened since this pandemic shit. Like, I've been feeling like this Matrix shit has been going on, but this really is starting to feel like it. My family might be next. As if though the arresting and him going to jail came first before, like, it's like saying the result of what he did came first. It's like flipping it. It's like saying they went and put him in jail, and then he created the hate crime. Like, that's what it's literally like saying. Like as if though this is, that's why this judge, I fucks with that judge, Miss Tina Knowles Lawson. Like, you out of touch, and this is whack, to be honest with you. Your family might be next, so let's make some noise about this and ask for probation. The judge was obviously biased and very disrespectful, and they wanted to disrespect and discredit the previous district attorney, Kim Fox, who was a black woman. Wait, what? The judge was obviously biased and very disrespectful, and they wanted to disrespect and discredit the previous district attorney, Kim Fox, who was a black woman. That doesn't even make sense. Like, she did things that she shouldn't have did. She put herself in a case. Like, she just wasn't doing her job. Like, so I'm not quite sure. Like, she did too much, right? She was trying to protect somebody that should not have been protected. Right? Like, he was causing a problem. Like, I'm confused. I'm really confused. Please do your research about the case and look at the crime he is accused of, and look at the time given him. They want to destroy this man. By the way, if you have a difference of opinion, I totally understand that, but keep it positive. All right, Mama knows. That's all I got. I'm not going to say too much more because I don't got nothing to say personally about her, because I have nothing but the utmost respect for her. But I do think she's out of touch sometimes. And I do think this is disingenuous to real life, and that there are people who are really kind of actually kind of doing less than the lady who just registered her kid. And I think it's in them people's Texas. I could be wrong. It could be Texas or Florida. But there's a story of this woman. She just wanted, I think, a better education for her child. So she registered her child in a different district. I think she's serving time. I think there's a woman, I think she voted and she shouldn't have, or she voted in the wrong districts, and she's also facing some type of time. And like I said, I have not pulled it up in a while, but there's stories of people who are really facing consequences for lying. So to just make it seem like this is something that is just targeting him is just really weird. Yeah, I know there's a story for sure about the woman with her child going to school. Like, she literally had to go to jail for that. So I think when you do a comparison, because Miss Tina Knowles Lawson likes to do her little comparison, a mother trying to get a better education for her son is nothing. You want to talk about, like, this is being more concerned about different things. Why is our judicial system taking time to put someone in jail for wanting their kid to have a better education? All right, Miss Tina Knowles Lawson. I think you may need to spend some more time online looking at real life and looking at what people are actually going through and why people would feel some sort of way about this, to be completely honest. But like I said, I'm not going to say any more about her. Like, I still love, I love these people. Like, I love them, like distant cousins. But I really do. Like, I do have a lot of respect for everything she stands for in terms of what she's done with her children. So you got to respect that. But at the end of the day, you can also, you know, also can come to some conclusions about the fact that you may have experienced life in a very bubbled view. I don't know how to I don't know how else to say it, but you may have had some privileges that a lot of black people haven't had. So you may have some views that are not in line to what is the reality for a lot of people. That's what I'll say. All right. So, but I also want to get to my co-host because, like I said, I'm done. I'm done. But she said we can't let this slide, and I'm just like, so you want us to be out here sliding for Jussie? Let me call OTF. Let me call them CMG boys. No, them paper with some paper chaser boys. Let me call them too. Okay. All right, I'm done, Tina. All right, so this is my co-host in the comments, like, y'all acting like he's doing life. All things underscore T. This person says, how does 5 months not fit the crime? And you see, I already hearted that. I was like, these are my people today. Some days they off, but these my people today, today. These are my people today. Why are people stretching it? He was wrong. That's it. I love when people keep it that simple. Like, y'all are complicating it. Y'all are bringing nuance with nuance. Say there's no nuance here. Nigga lied. This is as old can be. Nigga lied. It's a lie. All right, let me keep going. 5 months for lying and wasting everybody's time. He would have spent he would have only spent 2 months if not for if not for that scripted outburst in court. All right, girl, he lied. Pinocchio knows. It's like people want people to be so understanding about their bullshit, and it's like you can't even take accountability. Can we get to understanding after some accountability? Like we have to, like there has to be some, like to get the understanding has to be some accountability, acknowledgement, like all of that. You can't just skip over steps to get to the ending of what you want as a desired result. Like, am I missing something? Okay, I'm sorry. I don't care which celebrity drops a statement. I can't get behind him on this. 2,411. They sent the mama out. They sent the mama out. I hear y'all. I hear y'all. I do believe he should be accountable for his actions. Are people keeping it clear and simple, not disrespecting her? That's how you know they're giving her the utmost respect. I love every comment so far, even if they do. Like, I love every comment because this is respect. Like, they're just literally saying, we disagree. Celebrities cry for celebrities when they do a crime, but rarely speak on real world injustices. And that's it right there. Copy and paste that. That's it right there, right? So you got to look at the picking and choosing. Who else out here picked and choose? You got you got Joe Biden want to talk about what's her name? You got Joe Biden want to talk about Meg Thee Stallion and her lack of sales and her inability to kind of sell albums, right? But the illusion, I guess, people will feel like you see Meg everywhere. You see her winning awards. You see her featured on everything and all the other stuff. You would assume that that has equaled sales, right? So I guess Joe Biden was talking about her and saying that he doesn't believe that she's like a kind of like an international superstar status in terms of like Beyonce and all those other people, because she has not had the sales that say that, right? But you also will then see like the very next week or 2 weeks later when Yo Gotti has an album come out and that shit floppity flops and 40,000 sold hard copy and all that other stuff starts to happen. You see that he don't have an opinion on that, right? Right. But then you also see that how when what's his name? Who just recently had an album come out that did not do well? Was it the baby and I think Young Boy? You see, they had an album come out and they say themselves into that good. You also don't see what you don't see is you don't see Mr. Joe Budden talking about their superstardom and questioning whether or not if it's a real thing, right? So, like I said, people pick and choose out here. I wanted to most definitely touch on that. People do be out here picking and choosing, and you just got to be aware of those things. Like, if it's a friend, if it's somebody that like I could potentially step on their toes in any type of way, and I couldn't potentially like maybe I need a feature in the future, or maybe I need to be on red carpets and don't be pressed by niggas or something like that. You'll see people views start to change and like they do different things. And like I said, I don't know, maybe I will in the future. Who knows? But I'm at this point gonna call it out when I do see it and still be fans of everybody. Why I call it out? So that's a comment right there. 7,994. Okay, if I could like that 15, 20 times, I would. Okay. Um. Um. This person say, "Dag, he got 5 months. People got more time for an eighth of weed. He will be okay. He needs to learn a lesson. Yes, he's black, but that does not excuse him from being wrong. When did that message? When did people think that was a thing? Like, when did people think that was a thing? Like that black people just automatically felt like even if you're wrong because you're black that no, we don't feel like you should be held responsible for what you've done. Like I'll even be so honest to say when it comes to OJ Simpson, when it comes to OJ Simpson, if OJ Simpson is wrong and was found guilty of being wrong for what he did, then I think the right thing for him would have been for him to go to jail. I don't think because you're black that it automatically means for me that you are innocent. Now, if OJ was in it, was if OJ was guilty, and I thought he was guilty, and that he was out here as a guilty man, not being found guilty of what I thought he was guilty of, I would have a problem with that, right? I would feel like our judicial system didn't do what it was supposed to do. The jury didn't get it, blah, 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 blah. I would feel all those things, even with him being a black man. I'm sorry, let me scrap that. If I felt like OJ Simpson was guilty and he got found guilty, I'm in support of what OJ Simpson being found guilty and being sentenced to jail. Like, I'm in support of that. He's guilty of that. Like, that doesn't change because someone is black or white, right? Especially that doesn't change black or white. If you're guilty for doing a crime and there's no circumstances or there's no context that gives reason for why you may have did what you did, I can't sit up here and offer anybody or kick it with anybody and be like, we black. Yeah, he had to choke that one. No, I'm not sitting up here doing that. Y'all niggas is crazy. I'm not doing it in blackness when it comes to lying. I'm not doing that. That there's no. I don't want to stand for that. I don't want blackness to be like we just go around just standing and supporting liars. Like, that's weird. Nobody's going nowhere. I'm not going to Africa. Nobody's going nowhere. Like, we're always going to be living in a country with black and white people. So we need to work on trying to make it a better world for everybody. Isn't that what the song says? For you and me. Like, we need to be making it a better world for everybody. And this is not making a better world by excusing deplorable degeneracy behavior out here. So I think people got it fucked up and got pro-blackness fucked up, because pro-blackness is not supporting criminals. Pro-blackness is not supporting degeneracy. Pro-blackness is not supporting just deplorable behavior. That's not pro-blackness. That's not the pro-blackness I'm signing up for. And we're not in community if you think that's what it is, to be completely honest. So that's where I'm at with that. All right. Mama Tina should have sat this one out. I agree. That and the black man thing. Sit that shit out. Let the numbers go down first. Let the facts say that we shouldn't be scared of black men. That's all I'm trying to say, right? Let evidence say that. Not to say that there's anything wrong with saying love on your man, love on your men. There's nothing wrong with that. But why is the message not love on your women men? When the numbers saying that that's what the message should be, like in terms of like what we see in terms of violence. Like, I'm just confused. Like, how do you not say, come out and want to say men love on your women? Like, how do you not? No, come on, y'all. Now, I just thought about this. How is the message, after all we know that's going on in society, how is the message not love on your women? Come on, think about that. How is that not the message? So that's how you know there's something a little off with this message. I wonder if she knows people put this stuff out. Like, I don't know. Let me keep going. I'm sorry, I'm not jumping on the Jussie train with y'all, for real, for real. She's speaking facts, but out of all the things in the world, why publicize his? This is a bigger issue at hand. Exactly. Like, why let it be him? Like, that makes you speak out. So, like, you're not speaking out for everyday people, like the woman who's in jail that, you know, was trying to get a better education for her daughter. Like, I mean, her child. You know, it's just sort of like there's so many examples of lesser crimes that real people who have lesser opportunities, and it's not making $2 million a year, are being, you know, just fighting to survive, are having to endure because of the judicial system. And when you get involved with that, I mean, she ain't tell one lie. Yeah, she did. It was not a celebrity. If it was not a celebrity, then the punishment would be just fine. Grown ass men know the difference between right and wrong and choose to do the wrong anyway. Do the crime, do the time. Okay, sister girl. Okay. They acting like he got 30 years. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. He got off easy. Easy. So anyways, this sucks. We never want to keep ourselves accountable. The punishment fits the crime. So basically, just people just feel like the punishment fits the crime. And sorry, Miss Tina Knowles Lawson. On this one, I'm gonna have to say I totally disagree with you. Still love ya. Still support anything that y'all are doing. But there's just times you do come out and say things that just doesn't make sense. Like that time you came out and said that about Jay-Z. I think she was like, people were jealous of Jay-Z or something like that, or jealous or trying to hold her stepson back. Like, she's always like coming out trying to make it seem like people are attacking her, like, and she's defending black men. Like, if y'all, I'm just sitting here thinking, Miss Tina, some stuff is coming to me. You just recently came out and talked about how somebody asked you, how did you let your daughter marry a former drug dealer? Like, Miss Tina, why do you think that mattered? That some out of touch white person asked you that. And I'm pretty sure that not pretty sure. When your daughter started dating this man, he was not still on the block. He was still not moving them packages. So you know damn well you didn't let your daughter date a drug dealer. You get what I'm saying? You let your daughter date a successful businessman in the industry, right? Why is this a story? Right? But you wanted to position yourself as standing by and defending a black man whose character was being attacked. That's why that became a story. That's why your stories have this underlining protect black men rhetoric to it. Girl, please, please. What's up with Blue? What's up with Rumi? What's the other one's name? Blue, Rumi, and what that other baby name? Blue, Rumi, and what's his name? What's the boy's name? I don't know. But you got 4 grandkids, and I need you to get real busy with them and leave this shit alone. This ain't for everybody. And we need you to just leave this shit alone. Because there's some of us who actually listen to what's being peddled. Some of us actually know what propaganda is. Some of us actually know when someone has a message and have undertones and have ideology and how they let that seep through in certain things. Some of us is paying attention. Mine's is just more up in your face, I guess you want to say. All right, y'all be blessed, y'all be black, y'all be posh, y'all be all of those things black as F. Okay, make sure you put the AF at the end of it all. All right, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I am out.